lot of people, went to a lot of meetings, met a lot of officers, certainly enjoyed it. People have been very friendly and receptive to my arrival, and that's very nice to be around. I think we have a really good department. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What have been some of the surprises that, if any, have kind of popped up and said, oh, okay.
That's a great question. Surprises. There's an awful lot of similarities in how you do police work here, from what I can tell in 3 days, to what we do in Columbia. I mean, there's some differences, but certainly, I'm not here. I'm not a change agent. I'm not here to change what's not broken. Certainly, I think we can tweak some things to make it a little bit, I don't want to say better, but just I have a lot of experience in different trainings I've attended, so I think we can move forward, and we will.
Can you tell us about some of the specialties that you did in your prior job and what the focus of your job was in Missouri?
Well, it'd probably take a while, but I've been an officer for 29 years, but I mean, I've been a motor officer before, detective in major crimes in Columbia, which I certainly enjoyed. I was on our SWAT team for 10 years. I was patrol commander, investigative commander, and admin support commander, which nobody seems to ever know what that is, but that's over training and recruitment, it's over internal affairs, records division, and then they threw in SWAT. I was a SWAT commander too. I didn't really tie in with that, but I did that too. Certainly enjoyed all facets of my career, and I think that's what's prepared me for today, because I was fortunate enough to do a whole lot of different assignments during my career.
There's no perfect number at a police department. Do you feel like we're staffed about right? Would you like to see a few more boots on the ground?
It's entirely too early to make that comment after 3 days. So give me a few months, and I can tell you every agency in the world wants more officers, and that's every street department wants more street workers. So I couldn't even begin to answer that after 3 days.
Do you have some upper level openings with Lieutenant Simpson about to retire and Deputy Chief Mansfield about to retire?
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan to handle those situations?
That's certainly one of the biggest issues I have coming up that needs to be addressed fairly soon. I hate to lose both the lieutenant and the deputy chief. That's unfortunate. And you'd think they could stay a few months for me, but that was planned way before I got here. So I understand, and they've had a long and very successful career, so they deserve this retirement. Certainly going to look internally. Hopefully, I haven't interviewed anybody yet, or I've started to look at some personnel files, but I'm fairly confident we have some internal candidates that can fill those positions.
Okay.
What was it that appealed to you about Salina that made you interested in applying for the job, Chief?
Well, I primarily, when I started looking for police chief jobs, you're kind of limited to location. You can't just say, I want to go there if they don't have a position. And I really did want to stay in the Midwest. And with that said, I'm sure somebody will find where I applied somewhere outside the Midwest. I understand that, but my goal was to stay in the Midwest. And certainly Kansas is in the Midwest. I've lived in the Midwest my entire life. Lived in Nebraska near Omaha, for a very small town near Omaha, for 14 years or so. And then my parents moved us to Missouri and Midwest, and was in Missouri for 30-some years. So certainly I'm a Midwestern kid. Not kid anymore, but anyway. So I wanted to stay in the Midwest. Thank God for Google, because you can look up anything. And I certainly looked up Salina, looked up the police department, looked up the town, and I liked what I saw. I liked the size, not too small, not too big. It just looked like a place that I would like to live and be employed.
With all your great experience as a police officer, when you will be hiring new officers, what do you look for? What makes a good police officer?
I think one of the biggest things is the drive, the desire to be a police officer. That'd be one of my first questions: is why do you want to be a police officer? Certainly, the integrity is obviously huge. What they've done to prepare themselves to be a police officer is also huge. If they decided yesterday because they saw CIS Miami they want to be a cop, that's not going to cut it for me. But it's what prepared them to be an officer is the biggest thing to me, and what the reason is for wanting to be a police officer, and how they prepared themselves to do that.
What can we expect from you in terms of, are you going to be out in the community a lot, or what kind of persona do you have in the community?
I think you can probably already tell I'm not an introvert. I like people. I like meeting people. I mean, I know it's genuine. I enjoy meeting people as long as folks are nice and respectful to me, and the troops will be the same. That's just how it is. So I guess my answer would be out a lot. You know, I have a job to do within the building, but I will certainly be out as much as I can.
The chief, do you think you might be doing patrol stuff here and there, maybe different shifts, or observing maybe a ride-along thing, or?
I've already done
Oh, okay.
everything you just said. Yesterday I went to the second shift briefing. Actually today, I guess it's just because how I am. On the way to work, there was a car stop right in front of me, and I backed the officer which in my Ford Fusion. But anyway, I was in full uniform, so it didn't.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time driving by an officer without stopping to say, "Hey, are you all good?" So that's certainly something I enjoy doing. I still miss the boots on the ground stuff, the hands-on. I still think I'm young enough and shape enough to do that, but obviously I'm doing something else. But I don't think you're going to see me drive by many police officers that are doing police work. That's just not what I do.
So you already went with somebody that was out on a stop, and you stopped to
I just
see?
drove by,
You drove
and
by
I
and
drove by, and there he was. So I did a U-turn illegally and pulled behind the officer, and he was Chad, Officer Chad. Somebody, I'm not sure who he was.
Chad McCary.
You know who he knew I was the chief, but
Yeah.
I had not met him before,
Like
but
Chad
it didn't
McCary.
matter. So I stopped anyway. I parked well behind him not to alarm him, and then went out and assisted on the car stop. But so yes, I love being out with the troops. I think it keeps me young, and it certainly keeps me in touch with what's going on.
Have you had a chance to meet with the other agencies in the area? I think you already talked to the sheriff about KHP and folks like that.
I met with the sheriff. My days are going together. I think met with the sheriff. I think Tuesday. For quite a while, I had a tour of his facilities. He is overcrowded. I can make that opinion after that length of time. A lot of folks in that jail for a town this size. I met with. Actually, I met a lieutenant from Highway Patrol this morning. He came to meet me, but that was a nice gesture on his part. Forgot his name. I'm sorry. The lieutenant from Highway Patrol came in and talked to me. I have all kind of meetings scheduled coming up with different department heads and agencies. KBI's Monday. Today's the state
The county
prosecutor.
county
County
attorney.
prosecutor. Sorry. I'm gonna have to use that.
Yeah.
You don't call him state prosecutor.
No.
County
County
prosecutor.
attorney.
That's today. So yeah, I'm gonna make every effort to meet as many people as I can.